I'm Isabella O'Brien-Curcie, and today I will be doing my how-to presentation for how to do a smoky eye look. So the smoky eye look is traditionally a dark eye base, usually black or brown, with prim smudgy eyes and lots of diffused lines, with the main characteristic being thick eyeliner. I chose this because I think that this is like a very staple eye look that most women will end up doing in their lifetime if they haven't already. So I think that it's just a good staple look that everyone should know how to do. And I'm doing this to help you build confidence within your eye makeup, and so you can be able to accomplish this look, which might look difficult but it really isn't. The reason I chose this specifically is because I get asked very frequently how I do my eye makeup and certain parts of my makeup routine, and I've been doing makeup for years now. I started religiously doing it when I was 13. That's when I really got into it, and I've really been doing it ever since. In addition to researching this topic, I have my cosmetology license. So with my cosmetology license, it is pretty much an umbrella license. So with this license, I can go into hairstyling, hair coloring, waxing, threading, nail technician, anything with the esthetician field, lash technician, and then I also could technically be a licensed makeup artist. Okay, so now we're going to get into the history, specifically the history of eye makeup. So the first person to really claim the smoky eye and be the first ones to really do this type of look with makeup is the ancient Egyptians, and we see this on murals and paintings from the time. And there was even eyeliner, like coal eyeliner, found in Egyptian tombs and pyramids, which I found really interesting. The Egyptians obviously did this because they believed it was an effective protection method to the sun, bacteria, influenza, evil spirits. They also used oils and powders from dark colored stones for the coloring. Since the science wasn't really advanced, they didn't really know how toxic that was for your skin, but they just did it regardless. They didn't know at the time. Additionally, women of the time, ancient Egyptian women, would rub coal eyeliner all over their infant's eyes to get rid of evil spirits and to strengthen the child's eyes, which is very toxic and dangerous for children. Then makeup really was never a thing like it is now. Makeup really did not get popular again until the 1900s. So in 1910, the makeup trends at the time were just sheer face, very bare. It wasn't very widely accepted to really wear makeup at the time until 1950, when the invention of mascara took place, and this was by Maybelline. It was a cake-like product which you added water to and a paste to form. Women at the time that did wear mascara were typically call girls, considered very promiscuous, seen as speakeasies, or swing stars. So in the 20s, that's when the dark smoky eye really came into effect and became a really big thing. So in the 20s was a time of prosperity for the country, economic success, and things like that. So that was represented within the makeup by the trends of the time. The trends were set by flappers. It was mainly an increase because of the distribution of movies, so people wanted to look like movie stars. So makeup was made widely available to movie stars, immigrants, farm workers, people in big cities. It was widely available and became widely accepted. Yet in the 30s is when the Great Depression hit. At the time, the makeup trends during the Great Depression were just very thin eyebrows, super thin lines, and they didn't really wear makeup. The only people that did wear makeup at the time were people that had money, and they would wear light eyeshadow colors, light pale eyeshadow colors. And then in the 40s, World War II was in full swing, and as Americans, we had to ration a lot of things, and makeup was another thing that had to be rationed. So people did not wear as much makeup in the 1940s. This is also when women started working, so their makeup had to be more practical. Turn of the 40s to the 50s, that is when the pinup girl became a big trend. And the pinup girls, they had very defined eyes and bright red lips to represent patriotism for the war. In the 60s is when wide eyes, big eyes, and falsies really came into effect. People wore falsies on the top lashes and the bottom lashes, which we don't really see anymore. So this trend was brought over from the Europeans and from the English, specifically the mod fashion sense came in from England by the Beatles, and then so that look grew rapidly. In the 70s, a more all-natural look was in trend because this was a time of a lot of counterculture revolutions and a lot of cultural revolutions, and women felt more liberated not wearing makeup. They felt it was more their choice, so at the time that was just represented. Yet in the 80s, that was when the disco clubs and music, the economy was booming again, things got a little crazy. The more makeup, the better, and they were known for their bold, highly pigmented colors, and that would just photograph well. That's their main thing, was that they wanted the makeup to be able to photograph well, and they did this with bright blues, pinks, purples, and gold. In the 1990s, sleek lines, neutral tones, and subtle black-brown mascara was a thing. It was not really too popular to wear too much makeup in the 90s. In the 2000s is when big lashes became a big trend, and big feathery eyelashes became a thing, as long as false lashes, lash bars, lash extensions, and lashes became a really big deal. That's when mascara companies really started to compete with each other because it was an oversaturated market, and they just stepped up their game by using different wands, different formulas to make the lashes as big and full as possible. And then in 2010 is when the big brow obsession began, and we still see this to this day. Many people are very fascinated with eyebrows, and people make sure their eyebrows are very well manicured today, and that's the eye trends of the 2010s. Okay, so to start off my eyeshadow look, I'm going to put a bit of concealer on my eyelids. And I'm also going to put some on a little brush. Also going to put some concealer on a little brush like this, just like that. And I'm going to go under my eyebrows. So then I'm just going to make sure this is blended out underneath the eyebrow. And I'm just going to blend this part out with the Beauty Blender. Now I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush and just put some translucent powder all over my eyelid, just so nothing creases later on in the day. So to start off my smoky eye look, I'm going to go in with a more transition shade, like this lighter taupey brown color, and I'm going to focus that on the outer part of my eye, like this. I'm just focusing on the crease and this little outer V. Although it might not look like much, it will help blending later on. And now I'm going to go in with the color right above it and just keep on adding to this crease color. Okay, and now we should have something that looks like this, just a little definition on the outer part of the eye. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a even darker brown, which is going to be this one right here. And I'm just going to be doing the same thing. I'm just focusing it on the outer corner of the eye. And then you can see the difference between the two eyes. I'm just going to do that to the side. Just really make sure you are building the color toward the outer third of the eye, just to get that more depth line. So I'm just using the Morphe 35L matte palette, but now I'm going to go in with the Violet Voss Fun Size palette, and I'm using this little brown color on the little corner of my eye. I'm using this double-sided brush, so I'm going to use this one to pack down the color where I want it, and this is to blend it. So if you can see, I'm just putting it on the outer third of my eye. And it might look a little sloppy right now, but you just blend. Just make sure you use little circular motions. Windshield wiper, really whatever works for you. Just need to make sure it's fully blended out. Okay, so now that we have more of a blended out like this, so now you should be left with something that looks like this. After this point of the eye look, it's really where like we start pulling things together and such. So as obviously it looks a little crazy, but as you see, there's a darker shade here, more of a transition shade here, and another transition shade up here. So it just all blends. Now I'm going to go in with the Steel and Magnificent Metal little liquid glitter. I'm just going to show you how I apply this. So with like smokier eyes, you want to just mostly just add the color here. When you're doing it, you want to do it in a way that looks like it almost like cuts the crease. So then you see we have more of the shinier color on the lid, and then we have the smoky outer part, and now we're just going to do that to the eye. I personally like to use this product, especially if you're like just beginning with makeup, because it makes it super easy to see like where you're putting the product. Okay, so after we have that, I'm going to go in with this lighter shade, this lighter pink, and I'm going to use a tiny little pencil brush, and I'm going to put it in my inner eyes and under my eyebrows. Okay, and then I'm just going to go in again with this little fluffy brush and make sure this is all blended. Everything is nice and blended in together. Okay, so now I'm going to pay some attention to like lower lash line areas in my base makeup. I have this like denser little pencil brush right underneath, and I'm just going to be grabbing a little bit of that little brown color. And I'm just going to be putting it underneath my eyelid. Looking close. Too. So now we're going to move on to the eyeliner, which is like a very important part of this look. I'm going to start off by tightlining my upper and lower waterlines with black kohl pencil liner. It just adds like more definition to the eyes. Okay. And then next layer of eyeliner is going to be winged eyeliner, which is going to be there. I'm using a matte liquid liner from NYX, and I'm going to start off by going from the inner part of my eye and just drawing a line out. And while I'm tracing this line, the wing will slowly start to form. And since we are doing a like dramatic eye look, it kind of like balances the look out more if you do have a more of a dramatic liner look. And then you'll get something like this. And then we're just going to repeat that with the other eye. Especially when you're doing smoky eyes, it doesn't matter who, like, how symmetrical your wings are, because I know, like, especially like me, I get like very obsessed with that, but like you have to remember when you wear like eyes like this, most of the time you're wearing false eyelashes, and that really covers up a lot of the mistakes you make if you aren't the best at eyeliner. So now that we have like that general eye look, I'm going to go in with a actual black liquid lipstick from the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lip mixing palette, and I'm just going to put that on a really tiny angle brush. I'm just going to be using a black shade, and I'm going to be doing the inner corners of my eye. While this like has been more of a trend in recent years to do this kind of like cat eye look, it is like rather easy, I think, if you do it like kind of like this way. So this is more of like a like gel formula, I guess. So it does make it really easy just to crease out where your tear duct is. We are going to move on to eyelashes. So start off with eyelashes. I personally like to start off with fake eyelashes, especially when we're doing this kind of look. So false lashes are usually very difficult to apply, and I do not really like wearing them because I do actually have generally nice eyelashes to begin with. So I just have these eyelashes. I like to cut up my eyelashes into little pieces so they're easier to apply and they just look more natural. So I have the left lash here, and I'm just going to cut it into a few different pieces and make sure to cut them where there aren't really any lashes. So if you can see that, I'm going to cut it here because there's not really a clump there, and then I'm going to do that several times. Okay, now that I have that lash cut into a few different little pieces, I'm just going to grab this lash glue. So I'm just going to like put the lash glue on the band, and then I just want to wait for it to get a little tacky. And then I'm just going to put the lash on my lash line towards the end over here. And then you see it's just right there. And then I'm just going to do that again. Another piece of eyelash. I will end up using the entire lash, but I will be using it where I want there to be more fullness and more lash. That's why I prefer using this method. Okay, and now that I have that little lash there, you see a lot more definition. And then I'm just going to go in with another little lash strip. And then I'm going to put this one more towards the center of the eye. Okay, so now this is the eyelash with falsies, and this is the one without. Obviously there's a very big difference. I'm just going to do the other eye off camera, and then I will continue. So now that I have the falsies to a point where I like them, I'm going to curl my eyelashes just to blend them a little more, and then add mascara. So I'm going to be using the Lash Sensational Mascara by Maybelline, and I'm just going to apply this generously all over my eyelashes and the falsies as well. And you want to try to really focus it on the base, just because that's where your lashes and the falsies are meeting each other. Okay, so now that I've gone with that, now I'm going to go in with a waterproof mascara just to make sure everything's really sealed in place. Then I'm just going to do my lower lashes as well. And with the final touches of mascara, this eyeshadow look is completed. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned how to do a smoky eye tutorial. Leave any questions in the comments.